Every cuckosaur falls from its nest before it learns to fly. Kachina didn't magically become a champion overnight. Her victory was a result of consistent, tireless effort over a very long time. She's an outstanding warrior who deserves all the honor and respect she can get. Mualani says we got into a fight as kids over some toy we both wanted, but I don't remember any of that. I wonder if it's because I got into so many fights that I just lost track of them all. I also wonder if it was actually her surfboard I was after rather than a toy. I'll bet I just wanted the ability to go hunting on water. Whatever it was, I doubt our feud lasted more than a day. It never does with Mualani. She might come across as low energy, but make no mistake, she's one of the most diligent people you'll ever meet. When I asked her to build my gun for me, I barely put any thought into it. Just gave her a general idea of what I wanted and left it with her. Then when she started working on it in earnest, she spent an entire day questioning me. What would a typical day's flying look like? How often I was expecting to use it, and so on. And by the end of the day, there were abandoned design schemes all over the floor. I was so exhausted that I fell asleep even before she did. Then she wrote a whole maintenance guide, which she forced me to learn by heart so I wouldn't come bugging her with issues every day. Well, that's what she said. But I suspect her real reason was that she wanted to make sure I'd look after myself and fly safe. Some people compare me to the Pyro Archon because of my track record on the pilgrimage. It's a meaningless comparison. If the pilgrimage was a tree, and I was a vulture on the highest branch, then the Pyro Archon would be the sun in the sky. The stronger you get, the more you appreciate the sheer size of the gulf between you and her. I just won a few championships. She's the champion of an entire era. But at least being on top with a clear view of the sky means I can see exactly how high I want to fly from here. When I first saw How, I thought, oh, Kinich has a Saurian he treats like family too. Blissfully unaware of how far off the mark I was. Their relationship is truly one of a kind. Although I will say, Ahow's mastery of the human language makes me pretty envious. I wish Mom could talk like that too, so we could do away with the whole body language-based guesswork game. My dad told me that when I was little, they gathered all of the most learned elders in Natlan and asked them to come up with a plan for managing my abyss condition. They all disagreed on the best approach, and it turned into a drawn-out debate. At some point, Citlali quietly left the room, and they were all too busy arguing to notice. When she got back, she put some food and wine down in front of her, ignored everyone, and just started eating. The table suddenly went very quiet. Just by looking at her, you'd never know how much seniority and experience she has. Koichi and my dad have discussed medicine with him countless times. So after I got back from the airborne workshop, the first thing I did was take Koya to get checked out by him. But he seemed so dismissive. He took one glance, said, "It's nothing serious, Cusco can handle it," and then immediately left to deal with another patient. He was right, of course. I was just worrying too much. I've always felt that training oneself and training others are two very different skill sets. Very few people have them both, but Iansan has them in spades. I, for one, am not very good at teaching other people. Whenever I'm trying to demonstrate something to the flying squad, I spend forever trying to explain some basic, boring detail that seems intuitive to me. Only to have everyone ask, "What's intuitive about that?" If only Iansan could tutor them. I bet we'd have twice as many candidates pass the flying trials each year. Shame that our training program doesn't include flying.